I'm done playing. Pouring the rain, yeah. There's blood in my face. I love on my face.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. So good to see all of you here today. Today we've got a very great program for you this afternoon, starting with a bit of an explanation of our concept, technical details about how we implemented this concept, finally a walk around the car where you actually get to see the car for the very first time with your own eyes, and finally an opportunity to network. But before we get into that, I really want to invite onto the stage, please welcome Rick Thijs, Alderman for Climate, Energy, Land and Sustainable Development of Municipality Eindhoven.
Ja, doet u het? Ja, goedemiddag allemaal, good afternoon. En hartstikke fijn en dank voor de uitnodiging om vandaag hier nou, bij dit mooie moment te zijn. We hadden het er net al even over, al een drukke dag achter de boeg volgens mij jullie. Vanaf vanmorgen op Radio 1 en tal van andere, nou, publicitaire momenten. En dat is ontzettend belangrijk, omdat wij in ieder geval ontzettend trots zijn als gemeente op teams als jullie. Die werken aan de aanpak van de klimaatcrisis. Dat is iets wat we als gemeente ook doen. En dan hebben wij het vaak over, wij noemen dat de directe uitstoot. Dus dat is gewoon wat mensen gebruiken om hun huizen te verwarmen, wat er uit de auto's komt. Maar het grootste gedeelte van de opgave voor de komende decennia is de indirecte uitstoot. De verborgen impact wordt dat ook wel genoemd. En dat gaat over hoe wij consumeren. En wat daar wel niet voor nodig is om die producten te maken en hoe vaak wij dingen ook weggooien wat niet nodig is. En ik denk dat het daarom ontzettend mooi is dat jullie vandaag een concept, een auto lanceren die daar juist op ingaat. Omdat ik geloof dat het vaak dit soort bijzondere projecten zijn die nodig zijn om onze mindset te doen veranderen. Als ik terugkijk voor mezelf, dan is dat hoe mijn oma vroeger mijn knuffel repareerde, slingertje. Als die voor de zoveelste keer kapot was. Dan werd die ook niet weggegooid, die werd hergebruikt. Of toen en ik ben heel blij dat die vandaag er ook zijn, een aantal mensen van het Repair Café. Toen ik daar als wethouder een tijdje geleden mocht komen. Toen kreeg ik op een gegeven moment een apparaat en ik wist niet wat het was. Maar het moest gerepareerd worden en dat was de föhn voor de labradoodle. Omdat die gewoon niet meer te koop waren. En ik hoop dat jullie met dit project laten zien dat het niet gaat alleen over dingen die niet meer te koop zijn, maar dat we gewoon echt anders moeten denken over de producten en hoe we daarmee omgaan. En wat ik ontzettend mooi vind is ook de samenwerking die jullie als TU met andere partners, het bedrijfsleven, maatschappelijke organisaties daarin gezocht hebben. Dat is wat ons uniek maakt, onze regio. Maar dat is volgens mij ook de enige manier hoe wij samen die klimaatcrisis kunnen oplossen. Als wethouder maak ik me iedere dag hard om die bal vooruit te spelen, om stappen vooruit te zetten. Omdat ik zie dat in Den Haag en Europa de klimaatcrisis vooral vooruitgeschoven wordt. Beleid blijft uit, middelen blijven uit. En dan is het volgens mij aan ons om gezamenlijk te laten zien dat als wij de schouders eronder zetten en met prachtige ideeën als deze komen die wij vandaag te zien krijgen, dat het ons gewoon gaat lukken. Dat we samen iedere dag werken aan die prachtige wereld waarin we hopelijk nog heel veel jaren mogen leven. Ontzettend bedankt en succes vandaag. En ik ben ontzettend benieuwd wat er straks achter onder dat doek ligt. Dank je wel allemaal.
Thank you, Rick, for those kind words. So, today we'll introduce our 10th car, which is a wonderful anniversary to look back at what we've achieved before. Starting all the way back in 2013 with our very humble beginnings. Penny, the very first car of Ecomotive, manufactured in just 3 weeks, I learned this year. And the year after that, we introduced Isa, already showing great improvement. Both Isa and Penny participated in the Shell Eco Marathon, where they participated in the urban concept class, competition about efficiency. However, Isa was also about simplicity, introducing simple systems that work. Then, with Nova, also competing in the Shell Eco Marathon, it had a modular interior. We set another step towards more concept-like vehicles, not so much focusing on the competition. And by this point, we felt like we'd outgrown the Shell Eco Marathon. So, in 2017, we fully committed to building concept cars with Lina, our very first concept car made entirely from materials that grow in nature. The year after that, we outlined our circular vision with Noah and built upon that with Luca, made from plastic waste. 2022 was a big year for us, in which we introduced ZEM, which was able to filter carbon dioxide out of the air. With Eterna, we made a modular platform with a removable top, which we could build upon further. And last year, we introduced Phoenix, all about recyclability. With Phoenix, we've had a great impact. And today, we're ready to take the next step. Time to add the 10th name to this wonderful list of names. Today, we'll introduce ARIA. Now, you might already know, ARIA is all about repairability. And I can talk a lot about why repairability is socially relevant, why it's good for sustainability. But we've got a wonderful guest speaker here tonight, today, who can talk a bit more about why this is relevant and how we can achieve more repairable future. So please invite onto the stage Fons Weitz of Repair Café Woensel.
Goedemiddag allemaal. Ik vind het heel fijn dat ik hier mag staan. Ik ben uitgenodigd als Repair Café om vandaag hier ook iets te vertellen over het Repair Café. Maar voordat ik begin wil ik nu alvast die studenten van harte feliciteren met het mooie succes wat we hier vandaag vieren. Het Repair Café. De Repair Cafés in Eindhoven die zijn er inmiddels al 9. En die zijn mooi over de stad verdeeld. De repaircafés vervullen een belangrijke rol in het hergebruik van materialen. En ik wil graag even met jullie gaan kijken hoe nou zo'n repaircafé werkt. Een repaircafé is een verzameling mensen die graag met de techniek bezig willen zijn en die graag iets willen betekenen voor de maatschappij door de duurzaamheid te vergroten. Volgende dia. Ja. Kijk, de banner, als u de banner ziet, dan ziet u goed. Dus mocht u een apparaat hebben dat niet meer helemaal goed functioneert, zoek de banner en het wordt gerepareerd. Ja? Als u een repaircafé binnenkomt, dan wordt u ontvangen bij ons door de gastvrouw. Die gastvrouw die heet u welkom en daarna wordt uitgelegd hoe dit repaircafé werkt. Want het repaircafé heeft namelijk ook nog een andere doelstelling. Dat is namelijk voor de buurt, voor de sociale cohesie van de buurt, een functie. En dat betekent dus dat als je bij het repaircafé komt met je apparaat, je moet erbij blijven en dan gaan we kijken of we het kunnen maken. Dus je bent deel van het reparatieproces. Verder. Voordat we beginnen moet er een formulier ingevuld worden. En dit formulier bevat alle gegevens van het apparaat. Dat formulier gaat mee met het apparaat. Als er dan een monteur vrij is, dan gaat onze gastvrouw met de bezoeker naar een monteur. En dan wordt daar gestart met de reparatie. Volgende. Het formulier wordt ingevuld en we proberen zoveel mogelijk gegevens van dat apparaat op te schrijven, omdat we dat naderhand willen gebruiken. En we willen ook weten, wat is de ervaring van de bezoeker? Wanneer is het kapot gegaan? Wat merk je? Heb je daar een idee over waardoor het komt? Enzovoorts. Ja, wij zijn te gast in Sociëteit Andromeda. En wij zijn er elke vrijdagmiddag. En dan moeten wij het wel opbouwen, want het is een sociëteit. Dat heeft niks met het repaircafé te maken. Op dat moment komen we binnen en we bouwen de hele zaak op. Nou, en dan is het wel heel erg handig om een kar te hebben met al je gereedschap, zodat je dat weer weg kunt rijden en de volgende week weer op kunt bouwen. Een aantal producten die we maken, laat ik nu even zien. Hier zijn we bezig met stofzuigers. En een stofzuiger die uit elkaar moet, omdat je in het binnenste iets wil repareren. Ja, als er dus een kabelbreuk is, dan, kijk, als je een stofzuiger gebruikt, trek je heel vaak aan de kabel. En dan zit die kabelbreuk helemaal in het binnenste van de stofzuiger. Hij moet wel dan helemaal uit elkaar. Een strijkijzer. Dit is een eenvoudig strijkijzer, maar we hebben ook heel veel stoomstrijkijzers. En vaak zit de verstopping in de slang. En dan komt dat doordat we natuurlijk een aankoeking hebben van kalk. Maar ja, de meeste strijkijzers die we hebben zijn stoomstrijkijzers. En dat zijn best wel ingewikkelde dingen. Ja? Oh ja, de mixer. Ja, de mixer is ook een veel voorkomend product. Maar ik moet zeggen dat Van de mixers kan ik zeggen dat we ook heel vaak hele oude exemplaren hebben. Daar staat dan meestal Philips op, dus dat is nog niet zo gek. En een radio natuurlijk. Ja, we krijgen heel veel verschillende dingen. Dit is dan weer een radio. Die proberen we open te maken. En dan gaan we kijken of we het weer tot leven kunnen wekken. Want we willen heel graag een product weer een tweede leven geven. Ja, het is ook zo dat als wij in de gaten krijgen dat er een onderdeel niet meer functioneert, dat kapot is, dan proberen we dat op te zoeken op internet. Nou, dat is best een hele klus. Maar dat opzoeken op internet gaat door zodanig dat als we het vinden, dat het toch voor die mensen, voor de bezoekers, moeilijk is om dat te bestellen. We hebben afgesproken dat we het voor hun bestellen, maar dan moet er eerst wel betaald worden. En dan naar de rand, als ze thuis gestuurd krijgen, dan komen ze weer terug. Ja, we hebben ook een fooiepot. En dat is een vrijwillige bijdrage. We hebben nu eenmaal kosten, dus op zich is dat wel prima dat we een fooiepot hebben. Want daar kunnen we toch een aantal materialen bestellen of kopen. Want verder is het allemaal vrijwilligerswerk. Ja, nou even de resultaten. Het Repair Café Woensel bestaat al 12,5 jaar. We hebben gemiddeld ongeveer 14 bezoekers per week. Wij zijn elke week open. En als ik dan ga kijken wat het resultaat is, dan is het ongeveer dat we 10 mensen hebben die weer met een werkend apparaat naar huis gaan. Nou, dat is dan bij elkaar 450 producten per jaar die gerepareerd worden. Als we dan 12,5 jaar bezig zijn, dan hebben we nu al een resultaat van 5.625 apparaten die ergens weer kunnen functioneren. En dat is natuurlijk de doelstelling van het Repair Café. Ja. Hier zien we dan het overzicht wat gerepareerd is en wat niet gerepareerd is. Maar ook dat als je kunt ontdekken waar het aan ligt en je kunt dan een onderdeel bestellen, dat dat ook weer gemaakt kan worden. Totaal, wat ik zei, 450. En in Nederland zijn nu inmiddels 700 repaircafés. Wereldwijd inmiddels 4000. Dus een enorm succes. Die 700 repaircafés, die zijn niet elke week open zoals wij. Wij zijn wat dat betreft uniek in Nederland. Elke week open, maar de meeste repaircafés zijn maar 1 keer in de maand open. Dus dat bedrag moet ik dan door 4 delen. Kom ik uit op 112 producten per week. Maal 700 is 78.400 producten per jaar. Die ongeveer in Nederland door repaircafés worden gemaakt. Nou, wat betreft die aanbod van die producten. Stofzuigers is nog steeds het meeste wat we krijgen. Daarna koffiezetapparaten. En dan verder een hele grote, brede scala van verschillende producten. Dat gaat ook van producten met een stekker eraan. Dat gebeurt dus heel veel. Maar ook een meubeltje of een rollator of iets anders wat in huis kapot kan gaan. We maken het allemaal. Ja, hoe staan we er eigenlijk voor na 12,5 jaar? Wat kunnen we zeggen? Goed even om daarnaar te kijken. De repareerbaarheid, daar staan we ook hier voor. Zojuist heeft Taco verteld dat het belangrijk is dat er gerepareerd kan worden. Nou, wat de repareerbaarheid betreft zijn we nog een beetje teleurgesteld. Hoewel in Europa right to repair, daar wordt over gesproken. Wij merken er nog niets van. Maar het is wel heel moeilijk als je een apparaat krijgt om het open te maken. Dat blijft een probleem voor ons. Als we zeggen van nou, we zijn met een apparaat 1,5 uur bezig. Het kan goed zijn dat we een half uur bezig zijn om te kijken hoe dat ding uiteindelijk open kan. Het is allemaal plastic wat er omheen zit. En die worden allemaal met kliknokjes in elkaar gezet. Je moet zoeken, waar zit ik, enzovoort. En dat is dan ook dat we aan de bezoekers vragen om het intakeformulier te ondertekenen. Want we hebben de huisregels, daar moeten ze voor akkoord gaan, dat als wij iets uit elkaar halen en we beschadigen het of het breekt iets, dat we niet daar verantwoordelijk voor zijn. Maar het blijft moeilijk. Even wachten, Jos, even terug. Goed. Ja, als we dan het uiteindelijk open hebben, dan is het de vraag, waar moet je zoeken? Nou, het is altijd een probleem. Waar begin je? Wat is het? Wat kan het zijn? En dan hebben we meestal dat we in tweeën zijn gesplitst. We hebben onze mechanische jongens en elektrische jongens, elektronica. Die gaan er dan ook, als het mechanisch niet meer kunnen bekijken, dan wordt het doorgeschoven. Op die manier kunnen we heel ver komen. Maar ja, het zou mooi zijn als er een betere fabrieksinfo was. Daar moeten we naar zoeken. Soms lukt het, soms vinden we iets, maar meestal is dat moeilijk te vinden. We worden ook wel gesteund door YouTube, want daar zijn heel veel amateurs die daar een filmpje op hebben staan om het te laten zien hoe het uit elkaar kan. En meestal lukt het dan wel, maar ja, die filmpjes zijn ook niet altijd even duidelijk. En dan ja, de reparatiemonitor van Repair Café Internationaal. Dat is een monitor die wij invullen via het formulier. Dus op dat formulier komt te staan het product, wat het is, het type nummer, het jaar waarin het gemaakt is en wat er aan kapot is. En het commentaar hoe we het opgelost hebben. Dus dat intakeformulier is heel belangrijk. Dat wordt goed ingevuld door de monteurs. En dat wordt naar de hand in een reparatiemonitor ingebracht. En dat gebeurt landelijk. Dus overal de repaircafés in Nederland, die kunnen daaraan deelnemen aan die reparatiemonitor. En dan krijgen we dus gegevens die belangrijk kunnen zijn. Dan zeg je van, die stofzuiger, dat type, dat jaar. Ik ga eens even kijken in de monitor. Oh ja, daar hebben ze daar en daar en daar hebben ze hetzelfde gehad. Wat was er toen aan de hand? Kan ik zien? Oké, kijken of dat klopt. Op die manier helpen we als monteurs onderling, de repaircafés, elkaar. En dat is natuurlijk wel fijn. Ja. Duurzaamheid, daar gaat het om natuurlijk. Hè? Het zou heel mooi zijn als apparaten wat beter uitgerust zouden zijn in een manier om diagnose te stellen. Je kunt, als je dus een apparaat open hebt, dan moet je dus vanuit je eigen kennis moet je gaan diagnosticeren waar en hoe zit het en waar kan ik het eventueel de fout vinden. Maar als een bedrijf dat producten maakt, daar ons bij zou helpen, dat ze dus dat laten zien, of dat het een display is die je aan kunt zetten, of dat je daar een knopje hebt, dat je zegt van oké, zo is het. En dan kunnen we verder. Wat we wel regelmatig tegenkomen is een resetknop. Dus je zet een heel klein gaatje, kunnen we indrukken en dan hebben we een resetmogelijkheid. Soms werkt het wel. Dan de grote verschillen in functies. Als je dus een koffiezetapparaat hebt, heb je dus een pompje. Nou, je wil niet weten hoeveel verschillende pompjes zijn. Van dezelfde fabrikant. Beukje zus, aansluitje zo. Dat is allemaal zo moeilijk. En dat kost heel veel materiaal. En dat zou fijn zijn als dat meer standaard zou zijn. Dan kunnen we dat ook langer gebruiken. En dan de vervangende onderdelen. Ja, moeilijk te bestellen. Dat wil zeggen, de firma die het maakt, gaat na een bepaalde tijd hun service overgeven aan handelsfirma's of handelaren. En dan moet je dus ergens anders zoeken voor dat product. En dat is ook heel vaak in het buitenland. Dus dat is dan meestal een procedure die we dan moeten doorlopen voordat we zover zijn. Ja? Dan de circulariteit. Terugwinnen van grondstoffen. Ja, als je je product brengt bij de vuilstort, dan gaat het daar in een shredder en dan wordt het helemaal fijn gemalen, omdat ze die materialen eruit willen halen. Maar de vraag is, moeten we niet eerst kijken of het te repareren is? Ja, en zolang de winkelier tegen de bezoeker zegt, mevrouw, meneer, dit ding repareren is bijna zo duur als een nieuw apparaat, koop een nieuw apparaat. Ja, schiet het natuurlijk niet op deze manier. Dus we moeten kijken, kunnen we niet op een andere manier daarmee omgaan? Kunnen we als repair, als repairers, niet een stap ervoor zetten? En dat is moeilijk. Want wat er moeilijk aan is, dat wij een club zijn van enthousiaste reparateurs. We hebben geen enkele status. Dat wil zeggen, we komen bij elkaar, we doen het. We zijn geen vereniging, we zijn geen stichting, we hebben geen status. En als je nu die stap vooraf in het hele proces van recycling in wil bouwen, ja, dan is het soms moeilijk. Sommige instanties die wel met ons samen willen werken, ja, die zijn een beetje huiverig. Want ja, welke garantie hebben ze? Hè? Je bent vrijwilliger. Je kunt ook zeggen, het is mooi weer, ik kom niet. Ja. Dus dat is een moeilijke zaak. Daar zouden we iets aan moeten doen. Maar de gemeente Eindhoven doet ook iets aan. Want ik wil even aan jullie vragen, wie is bekend met de normaalste zaak van Eindhoven? 2 hier. Van mij repair. Daar een paar. En Rick natuurlijk. Ja. Want wat probeert de Eindhovense gemeenteraad te doen? Namelijk de mensen meer bewustheid bij te brengen om duurzamer te leven. En de normaalste zaak van Eindhoven die draait deze maand in november. En dat is een bus die gaat langs verschillende plekken in de stad, langs markten. En in die bus zitten wij dan als reparateur. En dan laten we zien aan de mensen dat het gerepareerd kan worden. En dat is een poging van de gemeente Eindhoven om meer de duurzaamheidsgedachte bij de mensen naar voren te brengen. Nou ja, we hebben nog veel werk te doen, dat zie ik wel, als ik zie hoeveel mensen er bekend mee zijn. Dat was mijn verhaal. Dank voor jullie aandacht. Volgende dia. Jos.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Rick. It's really great to get some attention towards the repair case. Thank you for your talk. Now, over the last year, we've worked with an incredible team to deliver this repairable car. However, while building, we do much more. We continue to make impact with events with our previous cars. Over the past year alone, we've attended many different events, both with Phoenix as with older cars, such as ZEM, which exhibited at Eindhoven Airport for 3 months. Now, by now you might be wondering, okay, repairability, sure, it's important, but why would the industry care? And to deliver you that talk, I'd like to invite onto the stage our marketing manager, Sarp.
So why did we even choose repairability as our concept? We noticed some trends. These trends were for the worse. We see in modern vehicles that there's increased complexity, now with them being packed with electronics and sensors. Software restrictions. Cars, even when a mechanical repair is possible, it is bottlenecked by the software, meaning that either the car doesn't perform that well, or it sometimes doesn't even work. Workforce challenges. Now, with the technology advancing, there's less people that is credible and qualified to work on electric vehicles. Low transparency. Manufacturers usually don't share tools, guides, and schematics of the product that they're selling. This all end up in high repair costs and longer repair times. This undermines the sustainable image of EVs. And we pile these problems into 3 pillars. Knowledge, lack of it. The lack of knowledge about guides on how to repair the product, tools needed to repair. Ownership, the true ownership. Now the people that buy their products are not actually owning them. It's usually partly owned by the manufacturer itself. Responsibility, the responsibility for the future of the product, meaning designing for repair, designing for the afterlife. This makes sense socially, but does it also make sense commercially? Across many industries, there are many companies that have implemented the right to repair manifesto into their business models. Look at how IKEA did it with their spare parts program. iFixit, providing guides and tools to repair basically any consumer electronic. Fairphone, with the phone that is repairable by the consumer. What about the automotive industry? For car makers, designing for repairability means that they're ready for the new regulation that is coming up. Right now, EU is working on many right-to-repair initiatives, and it's making its way into cars. Cost control. When repairs are easier, when you design for it, it becomes more predictable, and you can make it a part of your process. This also makes way for circular business models, like renting, subscriptions, and also battery as a service models. So when the battery reaches its end of life, the company takes it back and gives it a new life through second life programs. And differentiation. When currently we see there's a lot of greenwashing skepticism, and if you truly design for repair and for sustainability, you can create loyalty amongst environmentally conscious consumers, and it will help you create credibility with certifiers and policymakers. And leasing companies, they're also part of this industry. Actually, one of our members in the team did their bachelor and project on how sustainability is adopted in the automotive market. He found that many people who actually had EVs either were leasing them or had them through the company they work for. Designing for repair for them means low-cost repairs. In such a case, when you're leasing it, the leasing company is responsible for the repair. This is very important for them. This means that they can do low-cost repairs, even upgrade the car, even when new models come and the car's performance degrades. And this means that there is more value stability throughout the years, and it helps keep the car longer on the market. As the Ecomotive, we want to inspire the industry and also the policymakers. And to do that, me referring to these topics is not enough. We have to show that it can be real. And for that, I would like to invite our technical manager, Callum, to show you how we made it a reality. Thank you.
So I'll take you through a brief technical overview of what we have actually done this year. And it has been a lot. So clearly there's a negative trend going on when it comes to repairability, also in the automotive industry. So for us, the main question really was how to create a positive trend in automotive repairability. This became the foundation of our project, and it really caused us to think with every single implementation that we made, design choice that we made, how are we going to make this specific component or subsystem more accessible, more replaceable, and easier to understand by the user. So to understand how our student team really approached this, we have to really look at the major challenges that you face in a year. There are some major challenges. I mean, you're a group of about 20 different students, all relatively inexperienced when it comes to engineering, even though you're studying it. And one of the biggest challenges that you, of course, encounter is building a vehicle. We have never done it before. There's many different types of systems that you find in a vehicle, and it's a really big process. And learning this process, it doesn't just involve researching yourself, it also involves company contacts with a lot of different companies, Van Wees, Intrax, Apex Dynamics, Mantrek. There's a huge list of companies that helped us learn about this. Now that's just building a vehicle itself, but of course we want to innovate. And to do this, we wanted to implement the right to repair. And implementing the right to repair caused us to do component research. Of course, you have to assess for every single component, how accessible is it? How much expertise is required to do the replacement? How locked out are you by the car manufacturer itself to even be allowed to make a change? And what happens at the end of life of a certain component when you need to dispose of it? And together with this, we have to choose how to create impact. We're only with about 20 to 25 students. We only have 1 year. We have a limited budget, and we have limited time and resources. So How can we choose the right things to make the biggest impact? And this thinking process really forced us to think about the car in an abstract way, which is very nice to do because you're a student team. You can do this. I've shown this hierarchical model as well in our concept reveal in February. And we perceive the car as a hierarchy system, just like most systems actually are. And on a high level, you have the car itself. So you really have to look what implementations have car manufacturers made throughout the whole vehicle, how is it built up together, how is the chassis integrated with the body panels, where are the batteries, and like how do they communicate with other systems. There's this whole car level thinking. Then, of course, we have several different departments in our team, like vehicle dynamics, interior, exterior, and they all have their own specific niches and areas of components that they need to design. And this is where the lower level comes in. So you have the battery, you have the steering, and you have the braking, for example. And this lower level thinking really allows you to elaborate on a specific component. Now, of course, this is all fun, but I would like to take you through some actual implementations that this car has and what makes it unique. So on the high level, so throughout the whole car, the first thing that our student team implemented is thinking about how to mitigate the use of adhesives, otherwise known as glue. Glue is not only relatively bad for the environment, it also causes destructive disassembly. So you want to mitigate the use of glue throughout a vehicle that is supposed to be repairable as much as possible. In our car, we estimated that we used approximately 250 grams of glue, but in a conventional vehicle that you would find on the road today, you'll find anywhere between 10 and 15 kilograms of glue, which means that there is a 97% reduction in the amount of glue that we use to build our vehicle. The second point is accessibility. We wanted to make it sure that people can access any part in the car within 5 minutes. As Mr. Weitz also told, sometimes it's even very hard to get the case of a vacuum cleaner or something like that. You have to look up YouTube videos. 2 years ago, I was working on a Opel Astra for the garbage run with a couple of friends of mine, and we were busy for half an hour just to get a part of the center console off because of all of the different screws that were involved. So this is something that we wanted to improve as well. Now, of course, for the third part, we have to realize that we're building an electric vehicle, and an electric vehicle has a motor, and this is generally way smaller than a combustion engine is, which means you have extra volume of space inside the car available. Our team did not treat this storage as an afterthought, hence we implemented a toolbox specifically tailored to this vehicle. It comes with the vehicle and you always carry it around, such that you can repair things on the way wherever you are, in a parking lot, next to the road, and you're less reliant on roadside assistance. It's basically like carrying a portable workshop. However, a workshop is relatively big. You have a lot of extra tools that you don't need, and some people have huge workshops with a lot of stuff in it, and you can't bring that with you in a car. So putting the tools in the toolbox is one thing, that's the easy part, but it also causes standardization to be necessary inside the whole car. So we wanted to limit the amount of bit shapes and sizes throughout the whole car to make sure that there's as less tools as possible needed. This is easier for the user to understand which tool they require, and it makes a toolbox a small footprint. Then on the low level. For the lower level implementations, so the implementations that are really department specific, we started with the heart of any electric vehicle, which is the battery pack. Nowadays, the battery pack in modern cars are huge, massive, sealed off units. They're dangerous due to 400 volts or even 800 volt architectures. They are very heavy. They require either a lift or another specific tool and a lot of authorized service center experience to be replaced. Replacing it can cost as much as a small car itself. Our team really wanted to approach this in a different way. Now, of course, batteries are heavy, and for improved handling dynamics in your vehicle, you want the most of the weight in the lower part of the car, because a lower center of mass equals better handling. So how do you put the batteries in the floor of your vehicle without needing a lift to access it? And this is what we have done. On this render, you can see this black side skirt latch. This is normally just a panel for aerodynamics and working of the car. But in our car, this is a latch, which you can open, and you can enter the separate modules that are present inside the car. And as you can see, there are several smaller batteries that work together. So in this case, you don't have one big battery that when it reaches end of life, you have to replace the whole thing, but you have the possibility to only replace one of them. So the first thing, this of course is beneficial, is modularity. Like I said, you only have to replace one, which is better for the end of life, and yeah, at any one time you create less mass in waste. Secondly, introduces simplicity. There's no tools required. You can replace one by hand, swap it, replace it, in the future perhaps even upgrade it. And thirdly, and arguably the most important one, is safety. Like I said, batteries are heavy, they have high voltage, and they're dangerous. So in our system, every of the 6 modular batteries by Cleantron are running on 48 volts DC, which is low voltage, and they're each only 12 kilograms. They're also all connected with one failure-safe plug, which is easy to be handled by an unexperienced user. The next implementation that is something that every driver fears, which is damage. A scratch, a dent, a bump in the parking lot. Sometimes just hitting the wrong thing can mean days in a shop and thousands of euros to replace a component. Now, of course, some scratches can be fixed with a little bit of polish, but sometimes a dent is severe enough that the whole body panel needs to be replaced. And body panels tend to be attached to cars with glue or rivet welds or other methods. And this is a problem if you want to do a repair quickly and cheaply. So what our team has made is called the Eco Mount. The Eco Mount, as you can see, is a little X-shaped button, which is on the side of the car panel. And if you look inside, this is a bolt with a spring and a pen, which holds the body panel in place, and it's attached to this robust 3D printed mount, which connects the body panel to the chassis beam. You basically press, you twist, and the body panel comes right off. And here you can really see an exploded view of this system. I want to justify how important it is that we have collaboration between the Technical University of Eindhoven, Fontys and SUMA, for example, because this was designed by a student from SUMA and not from a TUE. And having all of these different schools and organizations working together is the only way that we can realize these physical projects in just 1 year. So this system improves time efficiency, of course, because a repair takes way less long, which also has economic benefits. But secondly, it creates accessibility. As was discussed previously, it's sometimes very hard to get inside something. And if you want to replace a certain component in a car, you sometimes have to dig through 5 layers of unrelated components just to get there, even though if you could just delete one of the body panels from one place, you could access it easily. And this accessibility is key for us. Thirdly, for lower level, we approach the electronics. So electronics are more and more vital in every single car. Sometimes you would find a lot of electronics in like Maybachs and Mercedes and other luxurious cars from previous decades. But nowadays, even very simple cars have over 100 different computers inside it, and the software contains 100 million lines of code. Now that's very technical and specific, but this is incredible. And in 2030, it is forecasted that on average, electronic systems will account for half of the total price of the car. That also means that a lot of components can break in the car that are electric, and that the consumer has to be able to understand these things way better. To do this, we decided to simplify the electrical system and try to create one place where the brain of the car is. Instead of having ECUs, electronic control units, all over the car, we wanted to put the main electronic functionalities in the front of the car. So in our vehicle, you will basically find a hub with central electronics. All of these central electronics are labeled and put in separate boxes. Some are only for the lights, some control the dashboard UI, some are the powertrain controllers. And these similar functionalities are all split up in a very easy to understand way. They're only connected with a bunch of cables, and they're all put in boxes which also protect the chips from electromagnetic interference. Every single controller that was used, that we put our software on, is from NXP, and they're all the same boards as well. So if you want to replace one, you only have to get one specific component, and there's not different microcontrollers to choose from. Now, this creates a great overview for the user in case they want to replace anything in their electric system. Less digging for wires and less looking for the right components because everything is just there. However, this overview is pretty useless if you don't have a proper way of doing diagnostics. Now, diagnostics nowadays are often done with a OBD scanner, an onboard diagnostics tool. However, our team decided to approach the diagnostics part of the car slightly differently. And for that, I would like to invite one of our chief engineers on stage, Mark Hoevenaars.
Thank you, Callum. As was mentioned, a large part of repairing a car is first finding out what is wrong with it. Is it just a loose wire, a faulty sensor, or is it a more serious issue? Luckily, our cars do have something to help us find out what's wrong with it. The dashboard warning lights. I'm sure you're all familiar with the infamous check engine light, although I do hope most of you haven't seen it in practice. But we do know what it tells us, right? Something's wrong with the engine. But what does that actually mean? Is it, again, just a loose wire, maybe a sensor that's malfunctioning, or do I just need to replace an old filter? We don't really know. And it gets even more complicated when you look at the whole set of dashboard warning lights. In fact, there are so many that, according to a study, 46% of UK drivers are unable to identify even half of their dashboard warning lights. And now let's compare that to an electric vehicle. We've had combustion cars for the last 50 years with these dashboard warning lights. And now you swap out your combustion engine for an electric motor and your simple fuel tank for a complicated battery pack. And that comes with a whole new set of dashboard warning lights. Let's take a look at this yellow turtle. What does it mean? Intuitively, I'm sure you'd guess it's got something to do with going slowly. But is that you driving slowly, your car can't drive fast, what's wrong? Well, what this actually means is that your car is trying to protect itself because something is wrong in it. So it cannot drive faster to make that problem worse. But what's wrong? Again, it could just be your battery being on low charge, or the battery is freezing, or it's overheating, or it's not the battery at all. Could be an electric motor fault, or really anything else in your whole electrical system. What I'm trying to point out is that these dashboard warning lights are great, but they don't really tell us what we need to do to repair our car. But as Callum mentioned, that's what an OBD scanner is for, right? An onboard diagnostic scanner. You plug it into your car, and you can read all sorts of information about your sensors, the communication going on there. But there are a few problems with this. First of all, that requires expertise. You don't really understand what you're looking at. But mainly, these are either really, really expensive, or the cheap ones don't really give you all of the information. On top of that, some manufacturers also make these specific to their cars, meaning that you might think, hey, I'll invest in a good one now, and I'll just have it for the rest of my life. But no, you might not be so lucky in 10 years when your next car does not support the scanner you bought now. And in the worst case, manufacturers even fight the right to repair, meaning they put codes and licenses on their electrical systems and only allow authorized repair services to access these with an OBD scanner. And that will mean that you'll be spending a fortune just to diagnose your car before any repair is being done on it at all. And for this, together with a few students from TU Eindhoven, as part of an app development course, we've developed an app that does exactly this. AutoDog is an app that diagnoses your car through a simple USB-C cable. Let me set a scene and walk you through it. You wake up in the morning, ready to go out for the day. You get into your garage, step into your car, shift into drive, and press the throttle pedal. Nothing happens. Normally, you'd stress, I need to go to the mechanic again. But no, you just take out your phone, plug it into your dashboard, and moments later, your car is identified in the app. Okay, well, something must be wrong, right? Yeah, the app shows that the throttle pedal is broken, or the gas pedal. We can see that the throttle sensor is broken. It also tells us that the severity of the issue is high, because, well, you're not going anywhere without your gas pedal. But luckily for us, it is fixable. So what do? Let's find the throttle pedal in our car. I sure hope most of you know where the gas pedal is, but say we were working with a more complicated component that you've never heard of before, you could spend hours trying to find it, and as Callum mentioned, removing tens of components before you actually get to it. Luckily, again, the app is there to help us. we've got a window at the top, which you can just scroll through with your fingers, that will show you exactly which component is broken, with a very obvious red dot. All right, so we found out which component is broken. We found out where it is on the car. Now you might say, okay, I still need help to fix it, right? But no. Just by clicking on the error, you get to see more information. And thanks to repairable design, you only need one M8 wrench to fix this, and you've got the link to the PDF instructions right there on how to fix it. And the important part is, these fix instructions are for the consumer, not for the mechanic, meaning you can do this yourself without any experience at all. All right, zooming out for a second. It's been about 2 minutes since you got into your car and you found out that something's wrong. And in just those 2 minutes, you've been able to identify what's wrong with the car, what component is responsible for it, what tools you need to fix it, and how to do it. Think about that for a second. And compare it to the last time you took your car to a mechanic. Chances are you couldn't even get your car back the same day. And that is the power of right to repair. Thank you, and I would like to hand back to Taco to wrap up.
Thank you, Mark. Now, moving on, within Ecomotive, we've got a small tradition, and you might remember from last year, but in our garage, at the entrance, we've got all these previous license plates. And of course, unveiling a new car means adding another license plate to this entrance door. So please welcome onto the stage my successor, team manager of next year's team, Tim Spencer. Tim, here's the license plate. Please give it a nice spot in the office and in the garage. Now, you've waited for a very, very long time, and you'll have to wait for a very bit, just a bit longer. But for now, first want to thank the team for their great efforts this past year. But I'll get on to that after this as well. But for now, here's ARIA.
Introducing ARIA, the future of automotive design. Where innovation meets sustainability. With easily removable body panels, customization and repair have never been simpler. Our modular battery system allows for quick and hassle-free replacements, ensuring minimal downtime. Our low-voltage system is modular, making it easier to upgrade and repair, empowering you to take control of your vehicle's maintenance, because the right to repair is essential. Revolutionize the way you think about cars. Welcome to the future of mobility.
Right, and now for a moment of appreciation. So, over this past year, the team has worked incredibly hard to deliver this car. So, I really want to invite the entirety of EM10 onto the stage for a warm applause. Please give a warm welcome onto the stage for EM10. Now, I also want to already thank some partners. First, for the organization of this event, I want to thank Scope Sound for the technical delivery of our live stream. I want to thank NXP for helping us set this event. Also want to thank Stichting Samen voor onze regio in getting this all together, getting us into contact with Repair Cafés. Thanks to Repair Café Woensel, thanks to gemeente Eindhoven. Thank you for making this event possible. And thank you for making this an incredible day. Then we want to thank all of our partners. We are incredibly thankful that they allow us to make our dream possible and for them to invest in a car like this to make this sustainable dream possible. And we couldn't be more thankful. So thank you, all of our partners that collaborated with us on ARIA. And now, I'm very sure that you're very anxious to see it in real life. Time for us to remove the black cloth. So please accompany us back to the dome, back to the car, take all your belongings with you, and get ready for a walk around the car, led by one of our lead designers, Petter. See you in the dome.
I trust you hear me well. And there, it'll be great, so I can start. So, it's time to talk about ARIA from another perspective. I'm Petr, and I've spent together with Ecomo the last 16 months designing and building a car from scratch. And today I want to talk about what effort it takes to concept and turn it what you see underneath this blanket in a few moments. So I started on paper. With sketches, we will need to design a form that is attractive to a user that is interested. The sketches were the first step towards that, and we landed on a city hatchback. We put it on an improvised chalkboard to get the right sense. Thank you so much, Taco. Much better. To get a sense of proportion and establish the right position, which the life screen on an office chair provided. And it was a big discussion, and the result was a set of dimensions that were used to inform the proportions of our car. And then we moved on to making a 3D model with the help of a professional modeler. This model had to be split into different parts, body parts, that are during assembly in a good way. And that's when we sent these parts to a company that took care of manufacturing CNC machined MDF molds out of wood. And these molds, back to them in a bit, and how exactly used. It's more difficult than we thought. The team was working incredibly hard on the structural part of the car, leading to a drawing that. And it was also important to collaborate closely between departments, the exterior with the chassis, so that both structures are compatible with each other. And when done, was for our mechanical engineers to cut the beams and send them to Mantrack, a welding company that we outsourced our welding to. A month later, like magic, the whole chassis came back, weighing approximately 190 kilograms, welded precisely to our drawings. On the other hand, the company Funwaste, the representative of which are right here, were essential for executing the interior vision of the car. And they helped us, or they manufactured for us, these lightweight panels made with carbon fiber scrapped flakes that are combined with polypropylene to create a lightweight structure. Carbon fiber being an unsustainable material normally was turned into something that could be used sustainably. And they even went a step further to make a little drive mode selector in this beautiful marbled finish. Designed a 3D printed seat that features hand-staged and individually removable, replaceable, and washable cushions. Yeah, we're thinking of repairability even in the seats. And back to these molds. Firstly, we had to drill these molds. Each mold needed between 10 to 30 holes, and trust me, with a 30 centimeter bit, a lot of work to do in a team. And that's how it looked like. Then we had to sand the molds. We had to coat them, prevent the part from sticking to it. And after 3 long weeks, you can see the excitement in Taco's face that we were finally done with this tedious part of the process. And this is vacuum forming done by another company, EZG, in Rotterdam. It's quite satisfying. And that's that. A panel is made, it cools down, and then we are left with a pile of panels that we had to cut. And that, in my opinion, was part of the whole body panel process. But in the meantime, getting the car to drive smoothly was another story of its own. And we had 2 electric motors that power our car. We have a gearbox that was sponsored to us by Apex Dynamics. And we have a custom suspension design that taught our engineers a lot about translating theory into real working parts. Sometimes not everything goes smoothly and parts don't perform as we intend. And in those moments, we did do modifications on the spot, so-called boning in Dutch. And for example, here Mark is shortening the door frame and making it lighter. Electrically, we had multiple companies. Harting provided us with buttons and connectors. XP offering incredible support with anything electrical and consulting us during the PCB design phase. The company with the biggest stickers on our car, except for TU Eindhoven, provided us with modular batteries that power. Here you can see the drivetrain in action, thanks to the Cleantron battery, and you will see them in a bit. This pile of panels, we had to take care of it somehow. And the only way is to cut them by hand. And this was a major challenge of craftsmanship. It took us very long. Each panel had to be cut multiple times before it could be aligned on the structure of the car itself. And we mounted the first panels, as you can see here. Everything had to be sanded smooth. And we started to get a sense of how ARIA will look like. Full scale, not just on a screen. So that was a great moment. This was multiple weeks of the most intense overnight work, where we were balancing our studies during the day with the car work on the night. And I will stop here and actually look at the But the last thing I will say, again, I want to thank sponsors and I hope that your sponsorship, whether financial or otherwise, was put to a really good use, that not only did you help to a little bit inspire the industry towards a slightly brighter future, but at least you helped a group of students to learn the unique skills that come with building a car from scratch. So thank you for that on behalf of the whole team. And now, I would like to invite my colleagues, Juvenars, Lucas Arts, and who else did I not mention? Taco. Please come off from the back. Yes. So, 3. Wait a second. Three, 2, let's go. This is ARIA, but the car. Why is this panel black? Yeah, it's not looking good. In a normal car, it would need replacement, and an average user might not be daring to replace this panel. But in ARIA, it's not very difficult. Anyone can do it. And I would like to show that that's indeed the case. So please, I think there is an extra panel. right now, they are using the quick release pins that you saw in the previous presentation to unlock them on 3 points along the fender to quickly remove the panel and hopefully put a new one on. There it is. And now, just as easily, Mintry will put the new one back on. Almost done, I hope. I've seen bigger companies struggle in a demo. If it doesn't want to click, leave it, Mintry. We can move on. So, Andres, if you could come, we will show that the bonnet, the frunk of the car, hides a toolbox that contains all the tools that are necessary to repair this car. From wrenches to all the tools that are necessary to open it and service it. Hopefully, these parts can be hidden in this toolbox. The scale of it can be minimized from the precious storage space. And now, I would like to invite and also Brit to come help us side latch. It's not just this. Brit will, because we will do something with the side latch. Yes. Only 12 kilos per pack and are easily removable, again, by if a module fails, it's not difficult to order a new one. No need to go to a service point. And she's back in. And clicking the latch. Now we can close it. And thank you guys. The door open. I would like to invite you closer to the seat to see the car. And we are very happy to talk to you about the car. Please ask any questions you might have. And thank you.
hebt het